Well, even before I acquired the blank book into which many of the details of these short pieces were recorded, I was sketching them out in numerous postcards to friends and acquaintances back home. And thus I owe a great debt of gratitude to my many correspondents for providing me initially with concrete destinations for these reflections on my travel experiences. As the years passed and my trips to Bali continued, there emerged this project of creating a collection of these musings, and yet many of them were still begun as snail mail postcards, subsequently transcribed and modified into my daily journal, and then expanded or contracted at home in New York City, where I used their scribbled details as a memory tool to recreate and preserve moments otherwise ephemeral. I've never been able to keep a journal at home. It is only travel that has elicited any discipline in this regard. Older now, I find it a curious fact that such large blocks of my time at home in the States have slipped away, their details lost. Whereas these days spent abroad remain fresh and clear, thanks to my having polished these postcards like gems over and over again for many years. In a profound way, then, they are postcards to myself. I also did not take many photographs for at least the first decade of my travels. I would bring one of those disposable Kodak contraptions, and a few of the photos would survive the vagaries of light and time. But on the whole, the only technique I had of preserving impressions was verbal. This volume begins in the pre-email, pre-digital era, an era of primitive fax machines and overpriced and unreliable long-distance connections. For the first few years, even electricity was a luxury only to be found in town, an hour's walk from home. It may well have been my sense of isolation then that set me to work so diligently, sending forth these postcards that took at least 2 weeks to get where they were going, if they ever got there at all. My pen became my camera, and no event seemed too minor for a quick, longhand snapshot.